losing grasp of just great people, and treat somebody like you want to be treated, and you hear people talking to people in a tone, and I'm like, man, I don't know if you even noticed that you spoke to that person that way.
Yep.
It's just like why would you speak to somebody that way? And life is beautiful and people are beautiful. So treat it that way.
Absolutely. All right, guys, Justin Andrews, country artist, up and coming and about to make his name known, I think, soon. Thanks for coming on, man.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you've been traveling a lot lately, huh?
Yeah, I've been moving here and there and trying to make the dream happen like everybody else. And I mean, honestly, it's been an exciting start to the year so far. We got a lot going and looking forward to all the shows we're going to do. And I mean, it's just, to me, it's, growing up middle of nowhere, you never thought you'd be where you're at right now.
Yeah.
So,
Must be a big change for you, huh?
it is. Yeah. I mean, I grew up in a little small town and, there was 16 in my graduating high school class.
What?
Yeah.
That was the size of like my gym class. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I think there was supposed to be 22, but some of them didn't quite.
Okay. 6 of them didn't make it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just trying to make it happen. I mean, I don't, sometimes you think about it in your brain and you're like, man, I don't know how to make this work, but I'm just going to keep doing it and see what happens.
Did you always have these big dreams even when you were young like that in high school?
Man, honestly, I always wanted to be a musician. I knew that. My grandparents raised me when they were in their 50s and they had a traveling gospel band. And so, it was more like, them saying, hey, get up and sing a song, me and my sister. And then it kind of turned into, I was watching movies with George Strait in it and stuff like that. And then I kind of got that hunger to where I was like, man, I want to be George Strait.
I love it.
So,
wow. Traveling gospel band. That's the first time I've heard that.
Yeah, it was, we would go to different churches and just, my aunts and my uncles and my dad would play a little guitar and my cousin and all that. And I don't know, it was just, I think it was just more of something to do and meeting people that were like you and,
Yeah.
So
something about church music makes your body feel good, I'm not even like religious or anything, but like just the energy from that type of music.
Well, I mean, our church, it was hooping and hollering and jumping up and down and running and all that.
Yeah.
It was pretty active. But I mean, looking back at it now, I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I know why I love music, and it's the reason why anybody loves anything is because that's what you like, and it don't really matter if anybody else likes it or not. But
right.
But looking back at it now, I mean, we traveled to a lot of churches, did a lot of shows, and playing with other people and meeting people and just enjoying ourselves and experiencing other cultures, really. Because I mean, we'd go to any church. It didn't matter if it fell into our exact style of religion or whatever. We just it was more so just meeting people, I think, and
wow,
and enjoying people.
So it didn't matter what branch of religion it was?
I mean, it was all. I mean, we do like Baptists and we do free will, we do holiness and stuff like that, but it was all for the same purpose, kind of, and because everything kind of went hand in hand, I guess.
That's why I love music. It kind of, and food, like those two things, like bring people together. It doesn't matter what walk of life,
Mm-hmm.
It's powerful.
I don't know if there's anything that makes me more happier than food. And
yeah, you're talking to the right guy about this.
And it's weird because I'm a foodie.
Yeah.
And I like everything. Like there's really not anything that I don't like.
Yeah, I like pretty much everything. There is a tier list for me, but yeah, most food is really good.
So what is your favorite thing you've discovered here recently?
Ooh, in Vegas or just overall?
Just anywhere.
I didn't eat pho. Have you tried pho?
I have.
I didn't eat that for like my whole life. I just had some last night, some short rib pho. Oh my God.
That's what I had. I had that about two weeks ago.
Fire, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So good. I didn't really eat Indian growing up. Indian food smacks.
Oh yeah.
Like some good curry.
I mean, I don't really like too spicy.
Yeah.
And so it's like kind of right there in the sweet spot for me.
It's that balance, yeah. Sometimes it's way too spicy.
Yeah.
And you're screwed for the rest of the night,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to be careful with
100%.
Certain Indian curries are, oh my God.
Well, I mean, I'd never tried it. When I first moved to Nashville, there was a restaurant and I was working for this gentleman and it was pretty much like fire, restoration for businesses and all that stuff and, repairing sheetrock and doing all that stuff. And we had to go in and we had to work on this Indian restaurant. And I really was curious because like when you walk into those places and you like, loving food, you walk into a place and you just, and you smell and you're like, I wonder what that is, you know, and it was specific, and I had never tried Indian food before. And then after that, I wanted to. I was like, I want it because I want my nose and my tongue to match what's going on here, you know?
Yeah.
And after I did, I loved it.
Let's go. Being in Nashville, where do you rank Southern food? You got that pretty high on your list?
Yeah. I think I'm not really a hot chicken fan.
Okay.
And that's kind of Nashville's thing. But I love chicken. I love, you know, breaded, grilled, whatever, doesn't really matter. But I mean, I think, you know, just steak and potatoes and, you know, asparagus and things like that is probably about as good as it gets for me, a good steak.
Yeah, I'm with you. Southern food I like it's not a daily thing though. No. Because it's so heavy.
Right.
So I'll eat it maybe once a week or whatever, but daily, it'd be tough to live off Southern diet daily. Yeah. I mean, I'd probably be 30 pounds heavier.
And I don't know how, and that's so true, because I don't know how I've managed to stay as small as I am. Because I mean, in an all normal, you know, normal scene, you would be 500 pounds. And just because, I mean, but I eat like a bird though. Like I will eat a little bit here, eat a little bit there. Because you're so
busy, right?
Eat a little bit there. And, you know, just last week, I told my lady, I was like, you know, how have I went till 3:00 p.m. and just realizing that I haven't ate today? Yeah. Yeah.
You're so locked in, right? Yeah. That happens to me. I'll be just filming nonstop or working on preparation for the guests, and it'll be like 2 p.m. I'm like, I didn't eat yet today.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. Sounds like you're working hard.
I've been really big into like yogurt parfaits here recently.
Ooh, I like yogurt.
Greek yogurt. Just chop up some apples, chop up some raspberries, some blueberries, and grapes, and put them all in there and drizzle it with honey and put some smoked almonds on.
That sounds good. Smoked almonds. Wow. Yeah, I love me some fresh fruit. I'm a big fruit guy growing up in New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
Known as the Garden State. Man, got some good fruit out there. But now I'm in Vegas, dude.
Well, I mean,
I'm in the desert.
I don't hardly eat at all when I'm in Vegas, and that's horrible for me. Because I mean, there's all the fast food places, then you have the really nice restaurants where you want to go sit down with signature chefs and, you know, all that stuff, and the Michelin stars and all this. But I never find myself eating at a lot of those, because I'm like, I need to get from point A to point B, and that would require me to leave the casino to go do that.
Right.
You know.
So you'll settle with In-N-Out.
Oh yeah. I mean, at some point, you know, you're having alcoholic drinks, and then you really don't care what you eat. Yeah. You know,
In-N-Out slaps. I mean, I'll eat it sober. Like, it's really good.
Well, my lady's from California, and that's her
go-to.
Yeah, she loves it. Yeah. Every time we go somewhere and there's an In-N-Out, she has to go straight there to go do that.
Yeah. There's none on the East Coast, right?
No.
Yeah, Nashville, Hattie B's. That's what they're known for.
Hattie B's. We just recently got a Whataburger.
Okay.
And Whataburger is my favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I got to try it then.
They've got an avocado bacon burger.
I love avocados.
Amazing. And I'm not a big avocado guy. So I guess it's just, I think my palate is just weird. Like, it likes, you know, different combinations of things.
Okay. What about guacamole?
So the weird thing about it is, and this is so strange, and I've been to the doctor about this and everything, if it touches the outside of my lips will swell up. But if it doesn't touch the outside of my lips, I can still eat it.
That's
and
crazy.
It does nothing.
What? So only your lip is infected?
Only my lips. Like, it'll swell up noticeably.
Whoa. I've never heard of that. And it's just with avocados?
Avocados.
Wow. That is interesting, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not allergic to anything that I know of.
I didn't think I was either. I mean, I can eat anything. I mean, I don't really even get sick. Like, you know.
That's impressive, because you travel a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of people get sick that travel a lot.
I've never had the flu. I've never had a flu shot. I never got COVID.
Oh, I'm gonna knock on wood for you, because
I never got COVID. You know, thanks.
That's insane. I got it 4 times.
I mean, and so I got a call from my band leader one day, and he goes, "Hey man, you feeling sick?" And I was like, "No, not really." Why? And he goes, "Well," I said, "I've just been on the phone with everybody today, and the whole band has COVID."
Wow.
And he goes, "So just go get checked," and, you know, because some of them are, you know, have no symptoms. You know, you don't even know that you have it.
Yeah.
And so I went and got a COVID test, you know, and they shoved that thing into my brain, it felt like.
For real.
And so tested negative, and I was around the band the whole weekend. And so I was like, okay, well, that was weird. Maybe just some freak thing happened. Well, then I was in circles with people, you know, because then they'd be like, "Hey man, tested positive today, you know, just make sure y'all good," because we were around each other, you know, all this stuff. Still never got it.
That's insane.
So I have no idea why.
Your immune system is just Amazing. Were you sick a lot early on, like as a kid?
No, so my grandfather, he had this metal shop, and we would travel a lot and deliver metals, and they would make like playground equipment out of it.
Yeah.
And so we would go to Dallas a lot. And right before leaving Dallas, we would always hit the fruit market, and we would unload the truck, when we were delivering the metal. And then we would load up the back of the truck, since it was empty, with all kinds of fruits and veggies and like that. So like when I was growing up, you never seen me without an orange or an apple or a pear or a grapefruit or whatever. Like I always had something in my hand that was fruit or veggie. And so I think that has to have something to do with it.
Must be. And you weren't washing it. You were just eating it, right?
Yeah.
That's probably built your immune system because it's whatever's on there, you're just eating it.
I mean, I don't know what was on it, but I never noticed it when I was eating it, I don't guess.
Damn, dude, that's impressive. There's a nasty flu going on right now.
I heard about it.
So many people I know are getting it, and they're saying it's like the worst, like the most sick they've ever been. So I'm kind of worried, but.
Well, I'm worried about getting the flu just because like my aunt kind of spooked me a little bit because she's a school teacher. And so they have to get a flu shot every year.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm just kind of scared that if you ever do get the flu, that it's just going to be really bad. And I was like, hey, don't put that on me. I was like, don't try to scare me like that.
It could get bad, man. I had the COVID, and then that turned to pneumonia. And I had to get some strong antibiotics. I still have some damage from that in my lungs.
Really?
Yeah. I got an MRI, and my lung has a tear in it.
No, really? From coughing so hard?
Yeah. Coughing up a lung is what they say. I literally almost did that.
Oh my God.
And that would suck for someone like you. You need your lungs.
Man, it's you never realize, and I never realized it until, like after you have like, because I'll get like really bad allergies, or a small case of, an upper respiratory infection, like either in the spring or the fall of every year. And it's not anything major, but you never notice like how much you're using your lungs until you get like a small sickness. Yeah. And then you're on stage and you're singing, and that like a quarter of your air is gone.
Wow. It's that noticeable.
Oh yeah.
From a little cold.
Yeah. And just having like a stuffy nose or whatever, when you're up there singing, you can tell how like one side of your nose clogged up, how much the notes change.
That's crazy.
And it's just so weird because like, one day this nostril will be stopped up, and then the next day this nostril will be stopped up. And so like it's weird how it affects you. I
get amazed when I see performers on stage not only singing but dancing while they're singing. Oh, because you got to be like, your lungs have to be in great shape for that.
I really don't know. And going back to the 90s, watching Garth Brooks do his thing, running back and forth on stage, and while he's singing these notes, you can tell that he's and I'm like, dude, I stand up there and sing, and I move around and I entertain and I do all this stuff, but I don't know if I could ever have done that.
You got to be built different. Like Michael Jackson, Chris Brown, Absolutely. Like they are literally doing a full
Justin
workout.
Timberlake, all these guys.
Full workout while singing.
Have you ever seen Justin Timberlake in concert?
I saw him at the Super Bowl. Did you see that one? Mm-hmm. Super Bowl? Yeah, that was impressive. Yeah, Super Bowl concerts are like my favorite to watch.
I've never been to a Super Bowl, and I really want to. Never been to one.
Damn, you got to go. Well, it might be too late, but New Orleans next week.
Oh, that would be a little
too last minute. Yeah, your calendar is probably booked for the year at this point.
Well, I mean, we're just, honestly, we're just trying to do all we can, and honestly, I really would just love to just be on the road. And this is, everybody be like, oh, I bet you would, but I invest in people. I love people, and when people see an artist, an up and coming artist, they're like, oh, he just wants to be the next thing. Well, everybody wants to be the next thing. But my purpose and my reason for why I do what I do, I left a great job for 10 years to just chase a dream.
Right.
And I enjoy people, and people make me happy. Like when we can share stories about food, or, like I really enjoy people. And so that is why I would love to be out in the world and doing these things, because people make me happy.
Yeah.
And music makes me happy, and food or whatever that people vibe with. I'm like, man, just do what you love, and damn everything else.
Facts. I love that way of living, man. I love that. What was your job? You said you had a 10-year job?
Yeah. So when I graduated high school, and all of my friends were going to college, and people were going to the military, and all this stuff. And I was like, man, I really don't know what I want to do. And my older brother was working for this company in Yukon, Oklahoma. And I was like, man, do I want to do that? I really don't. I mean, and I knew, I was like, man, I really don't want to go to college. And I had great grades and everything like that. And I was like, I don't really want to go to college. And everybody's going to OU, Oklahoma State, going down to Texas and doing all this stuff. And I just had a talk with myself in the truck one day. And I was like, I know you don't want to go to college, so don't go to college. And so my brother was working for this company, and I was like, do they need any help? And he was like, yeah, they'll always hire people and all this stuff. So I was the gopher guy, go get this, go get that, go get this, go get that. And then we started working for another company that was doing the same thing, but I did that for 10 years. And, it was like 290 days out of the year.
Damn.
I mean, you made great money, but I mean, and then when you were off, you bought a brand new truck, or you bought a boat, or you bought a motorcycle. And so where everybody where I'm from is making all this great money, but they're broke because when they're off, you work hard and you play even harder.
Yeah, they spend it all.
But I mean, I made a lot of, everything's heavy, somebody was asking me the other day, they was like, did you do anything like that Landman show? And I was like, I did a lot of things like that, like every day.
So hard physical labor.
Seeing people get injured and some people losing their life and, all this. I mean, I did it for that long, and every single day is hard work, but like everything's heavy.
Yeah, I respect people like that and construction workers and stuff. That shit ain't easy, man. Physical labor, you can't catch me doing that personally, but I respect those guys for sure.
Well, I mean, that's how the world was. They're the United States, all these other countries, I mean, you have the people that will do the stuff that you don't want to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of it, they get paid that good because it sucks.
No, it sucks. But listen, plumbers are making 150K a year, but it's needed, man. Toilets clog and people need skilled people like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, dude. Where are you performing next?
I think we're doing Isla Mujeres in Mexico next.
Wow, Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So country's big out there?
There's a lot of festivals that go on around the country and around the world and stuff like that. I mean, I was talking to a gentleman the other day about going to Denmark and they're a big country music loving family over there. But we're doing Mexico. We're doing Fremont Street in Vegas.
That's going to do well there.
In March, we're doing, I think we're going down to do Monday after the Masters. I think we're doing that, but we're just trying our best to get out there in the world and, just hoping people love it and hoping people love it as much as I do.
Yeah. Country's blowing up, man.
It's amazing.
Great timing for you too.
It's amazing to me. I mean, I've never seen more cowboy hats and boots.
For real. Like even at the inauguration, I don't want to get too political, but like country was there. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
The artists they hired, most of them were country.
Yeah. And I love seeing it because, I mean, I grew up in those little shithole honky tonks, where, you breathe 72 packs of cigarettes while you're in there dancing around. And you start to go into these bars, even not in Nashville and Oklahoma. And I go to these bars and people are two-stepping, spinning each other around and doing all this stuff. And I'm like, what is going on? And it's screaming back to how I grew up. And it's exciting to me.
Yeah, it is. There's even country bars coming to Vegas now.
Yeah.
Aldean's bringing his bar, I believe.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
And it makes my heart smile because it brings me back, where everybody grew up, that's their favorite place for the most part. And everybody loves where they grew up and but it makes my heart smile because it reminds me of home, seeing what people are doing now in different places.
Yeah. Because you grew up in a real small town, so you were probably super tight with everyone.
Oh, yeah. Everybody knew everything about you and stuff you didn't want people knowing about you and everything else.
It's good and bad, right?
Yeah.
I'm on the opposite. My class had 820 people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was huge. But I had cousins in Pennsylvania, 50 people.
Yeah.
And they were tight with each other. And I would go there and play dodgeball and whatever, and it'd be fun, dude.
I worked in Pennsylvania for a little while in like Scranton area and stuff like that. And it reminded me a lot of home.
I could see that. Yeah, because there's a lot of family values.
It's a little prettier, greener, but Oklahoma's flat and you can watch your dog run off for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But I liked Pennsylvania.
Yeah, shout out to PA. Shout out to Quakerstown, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Small little town up there. But man, you got acres of land, you got farm animals, you got a tight community.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you could live a very happy life not making that much, I realized.
Man, people don't realize, and I never knew when I was growing up, I never knew that we were broke. Like, I mean, you say if somebody drove, somebody come down the road and they had a brand new truck, you're like, dang, that guy's got a brand new truck.
Right.
And he must be making a bunch of money and all this stuff. And I never knew until this moment that we were broke until I went over to my grandmother, like sheltered me a lot, wouldn't let me go out. I was the baby boy, you know? And so she would never let me go out and do anything or on my prom night, my senior year, I had to be home at 11 o'clock. I mean, it's one of those things, but I never knew that we were broke until my grandmother finally let me go stay at my friend Aaron's house.
Mm.
And he had a TV in his bedroom. And I was like, damn, y'all rich? Because I didn't have a TV in my bed. We had one TV in the whole house.
Wow.
And so like that's when but we never knew it. We didn't care. We weren't starving to death. We had everything that we needed. We had clothes, we had shoes, we had food, and just grew up on a little farm, and broke was good enough for us, I guess.
Yeah, that's one of the side effects I think of social media. Now everyone compares their life to other people's lives.
Yeah.
So if you're broke, basically.
Yeah.
But back then you could grow up and realize, oh, this is my life.
Well, I mean, it was as simple as if we had steak one night of the week or something like that, or, we were set. We're like, man, that was great.
That's awesome.
You didn't worry about anything else.
Did you know your grandparents were strict at the time, or you didn't know until later?
I didn't realize it.
Wow.
Because I mean, I knew that, they were trying to keep us on the path of just, and it wasn't really extremely religious, and it wasn't, anything else. It was just, they're trying to make you a good person, and I didn't realize it at the time because, there was a lot of scoldings and there was a lot of all this, because like every parent would do, but I'm glad of that because it made me and built me into the person I am.
Yeah.
And I think, probably shouldn't say this, but I think more kids need more ass whipping these days, because I mean, when you go to restaurants or you go somewhere, to a public event or something like that, and kids are just going crazy, like, now I look at that and I'm like, somebody needs to get that kid.
Yeah.
Because like, and it's probably going back to my childhood, but I realize now that it made me who I am.
I feel that.
It made me the person that I am, and to respect people and respect people's properties and, their opinions. And it's okay to have your opinion. So it's okay to have whatever, like, it just made me the person that I am. And I'm thankful that I got my ass whipped when I was a kid.
I love that, man. Yeah, that perspective's cool. I got a couple spankings growing up, and of course I hated it at the time, but I was all over the place. I was jumping off the walls and like causing a scene. I probably deserved it, to be honest.
I did. There's no doubt that I deserved it. Looking back, I'm like, man, I deserved every one of those.
But you need to have that respect level of whoever your parents are, whether grandparents, parents, because if you don't have that, you're just going to do whatever you want.
Yeah. I mean, when I was in high school, the wave of how to get back at somebody that did you wrong was keying their car, or giving them a flat or whatever. And I was just like, man, like the way that I was raised, somebody worked hard to get that,
Yeah.
And for you to destroy something that somebody worked hard for is a no-go for me, buddy.
Yeah. I was never a fan of that keying and flat tires or whatever. That seemed too extreme for me.
Man, if my grandfather found out I was doing that, shit, buddy. Like,
so what would cause you to do that to someone?
Well, in Oklahoma, it was, somebody cheated on you in high school or whatever. And so they would go key their car or something like that. And I'm just like, and you're in high school at the time, but growing up the way that I grew up is like, grow up, man.
Yeah.
Like, be the bigger person, but then you got to think about that they didn't have the same raising that you had, and to where it's, my grandparents were on top of me all the time, just making sure that I'm doing what needs to be done. And like I said, it wasn't strict and it wasn't like overbearing or anything like that. It was just like, when you say you're going to do something, do it. And if you need to do it, do it. Your
word is valuable.
Absolutely. It's gold.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a limit. I think, they call them helicopter parents when they're too hands-on, and then you don't want to be the other end.
Never heard that term.
Oh, helicopter. Yeah. They're up your ass all the time. And then the other way is not any involvement at all. And then the kid, goes crazy.
Yeah.
So you need to find that balance.
Man, it's just, I feel like more and more every day that the world is just losing grasp of just great people, and treat somebody like you want to be treated, and you hear people talking to people in a tone, and I'm like, man, I don't know if you even noticed that you spoke to that person that way.
Yeah.
It's just like why would you speak to somebody that way? And life is beautiful and people are beautiful. So treat it that way.
Absolutely. When I went to Nashville for the first time last year, it was my first time ever in the South.
Time?
Yeah. First time ever in the South. I heard all these people telling me in my ear that it's racist and all this shit, right? I didn't experience any of that, to be honest.
Man, I hate that word so much. It's to me, it's, like I said, how I grew up is, if you love somebody, you love them, and it doesn't matter if they're black or white. It does, like, love everybody. I mean, and that sounds, this is not derogatory, like hippie-ish, but like, to me is like, man, like, how can you not care for somebody for them just being a human being?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand if they did something to you, and you don't like that person for the person that he is, or, his character or his integrity. But Nashville is pretty mixed up, with the cultures and everything like that, just making a great environment for people to live.
Especially these days.
I don't think I've experienced it in Nashville.
No, but you hear all this stuff about the South, it's crazy. So people have these preconceived notions.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I experienced none of that, dude. So shout out to Nashville.
Nashville is, like, I've lived there almost 10 years, and Nashville never ceases to amaze me.
The energy is something about, when I landed there, just the energy felt amazing.
Yeah.
Certain cities you land at, you could feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Nashville's one of those cities.
Man, I never saw it before, and I packed up my bags one night in Oklahoma, and I was like, I'm moving to Nashville. So I packed everything in the car, drove into Nashville, and it was dark when I got there, and I come over the hill, and the first thing I see is the skyline, and I was like, we're doing something. Because I'd never been anywhere. I'd never lived anywhere else, I mean, let alone live in a city.
Yeah. Big change for you.
Oh yeah. And so when I moved to Nashville, I pulled over the hill and I saw the high rises and the lights and all this stuff. And for the first time in my life, I was like, this is going to work.
I love that.
Or if it don't work, what level of success are you satisfied with? And for me, it's just, like I said, I want to be out running the roads and making people smile and putting some boogie in their boots and, just having a good time.
Yeah. There's a lot of talent in Nashville, man. I mean, between country and between podcasts, there's a lot of talented people out there.
There's a lot of talented people there that I've seen that don't really know that they're talented because you get so desensitized to great songwriters and living in Nashville and being there every day and living that life that I think the world kind of forgets about them a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's just because that town moves so fast, but it's a small town in a big city. And there's so many great people that I hope it never happens, but they'll never see the light of day just because there's so many people there doing it that some of these great people that I've seen, they'll just slip through the cracks.
Wow. Yeah, it's a competitive industry too. And you need the right team around you. There's a lot of different factors, right? The timing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, you've been at this for how long now?
Man, I've been playing music and singing most of my life, but I mean, I've been doing it professionally probably 11, 12 years.
Wow. That's nuts. Not a lot of people are willing to dedicate that much time to something,
Well, you got to really want it.
Yeah, no, facts.
You got to really want to do it, and there's good days and there's bad days. There's days when you wake up and you're like, man, is this going to work or not? But I've never been labeled as a quitter on anything ever in my life. And so if you tell me that I can't have it, watch me.
Yeah.
If you don't want to help me do it, I'll do it by myself. And that's just the way that I've always looked at it. And when you love music as much as I love music, and the reason I love music so much is because you can hear a song that you haven't heard in forever, or you've never heard it in your life. And it can change the mood that you're in.
Facts.
And it can take you any place. Like when you hear a song that you haven't heard from middle school, you remember where you were at, what you were doing, who you were with, and all of that. And I don't know if there's anything else that does me that way.
Just music and food. Like we're bringing it back full circle now. Those two things, man.
I mean, we used to have. Do you like moon pies?
Have I had one? That sounds familiar. What is it?
It's just like a chocolate covered flaky, and it's got marshmallow in the middle.
No, I haven't had one. I heard of it though.
So that was a big thing in Oklahoma growing up. So every Sunday before church, my grandfather would take me to the flea market, and he would get me a yoo-hoo and a moon pie.
I've had yoo-hoos. The chocolate milk, right?
Killer.
Yeah. And the moon pies, okay, so Amish people make those, right?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I know about it.
No, I don't know that.
I saw it at an Amish farm once, I think.
Oh, you probably know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I just ate the shit out of them. But my grandfather would get me a yoo-hoo and a moon pie. And then later on in Nashville, I got to do some shows that was sponsored by Moon Pie. And they put my face on the side of the box.
Wow.
And all this stuff. And it's just like the full circle thing that you're talking about is like food, music, things like that. And my girlfriend had never had a moon pie. And now her nickname is Moon Pie for a reason.
I love it.
And so it was, there's not a lot of things that will make me smile more than great food and good people and music.
Yeah.
It's just.
And that's why you don't screw people over, guys, because there's so many full circle moments when I look back on my life. Like even with this podcast, the guests I'm having on are people I watched when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's 15, 20 year full circle moment.
Yeah.
So I never burn bridges, never scam, never do any bad business with people, Your reputation's important.
Even when it probably deserves.
Oh, there's been people that deserve it for sure. Yeah. I've been fucked over for sure.
And it's, which I mean, and you can agree with me on this. Like it's way harder to be a dick than it is to be a good person. So,
I think it's way harder. Yeah.
Just
because you got to put in so much effort to be a dick.
I mean, there's been times where I have been, but it was warranted. I think everybody's had those days where, but in the music business and in your line of work as well, and a lot of other, lines of work, you're not allowed to have a bad day.
Mm.
You have to show up for people because people are showing up for you.
Right.
And so if you're having a shit day, tough shit.
Yeah, you can't
get over it.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Yeah, you can't show that in your space, right? Because it'll affect the way you perform.
Absolutely.
Damn, that must be tough.
There's always a part of it, in the music business to where, you've met people that was one of your heroes,
Yeah.
And they turned out to be an asshole.
Hear that all the time in movies and acting too.
Movies, and so that might have been a bad day for that person.
True.
But the word of mouth travels so fast. And a lot of times, people don't care. And I don't care. I mean, if you tell me you're having a bad day, I'm like, I'm sorry, buddy. How can I help you, along today?
Right.
Buy you a beer? You need a dip of snuff? Like, what do you need? You need a pat on the back? You need a cry or a hug? I got you. But it's one of those things where, I've met people that I wish I never had met.
Mm. Yeah. Because
of a bad day or.
Yeah. When you put these people on a pedestal, right?
Mm-hmm.
People you look up to and then you meet them, it's like you kind of get let down no matter what because you idolize them.
Yeah. I mean, because I always wanted to be these people that I saw, and the people that I idolize as musical heroes. And I always wanted to be those, in their shoes. I wanted to experience what they were feeling while these people are yelling their songs and having a great time.
Mm.
And you meet that person and you're like, that just killed all of those memories.
Yep.
That were positive, And so, yeah, be careful what you wish for.
Absolutely. No, you hear this. It doesn't even have to be music artists, just with anyone you look up to, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. So now I just treat everyone the same, dude.
Yeah.
No.
Are you a music lover?
I used to be, not as much anymore, if I'm being honest. And country wasn't huge where I grew up. We kind of got a little, do you consider Taylor Swift like country or?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay. Because I know some people are like, no, she's not anymore.
Well, she started out really, really country.
Yeah. So that was like what I saw people listening to, but not anything else past that.
I mean, I don't get into the politics of things because, it's your opinion.
Yeah.
Which you're entitled to. But like, I just don't get in dogfights with people about music or politics or religion and all this stuff. I'm like, at the end of the day, I respect you for what you believe and do the same for me.
Yeah.
But I think Taylor started out really country.
I think so too. Yeah. Now I listen to it with intention. Like if I'm going to my basketball game, which I had one last night, I'll put on a playlist to get me pissed, get me angry, stuff like that. If I'm trying to relive some old moments, I'll play some 2000s pop, whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I have more intention these days.
So you're a hooper.
I am. Are you?
I used to play.
Oh yeah? What was your...
I was a shooting guard.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was talking to Marcus, and he was like, "You ever been to Australia?" And I was like, "I played basketball in Australia."
Oh, so you were nice.
So I did like this international tournament, and I played in Honolulu, and I played in Sydney.
Wow.
And so I was like, when they said international, I'm like, "You said Hawaii." Like, that's what I'm thinking in my head. And they were like, no, you're going to Sydney also. So I loved basketball, and I would never miss a Michael Jordan game.
Ooh.
And Sean Kemp, but then you go back to the greats like Dr. J and like all these people, but like some of my favorites when I went home for Christmas this year, my grandmother was saying, "Hey, you still got a bunch of stuff out there in a tote that I found in the closet." And I open it up, and it's got my Alonzo Mourning jersey in it.
Wow.
It had Charles Barkley from the Magic and the Suns.
Damn.
In there. And I had I can't remember what the Dream Team jersey was.
Dream Team. Was that the USA team?
Yep.
Pippen?
It wasn't Pippen. I don't remember which one it was. But I took all of them back to Nashville with me.
It's actually right here. So if you can point them out. Stockton.
Well, it wasn't John.
Larry Bird.
Robinson.
Oh, it was Robinson?
I think it was Robinson, yeah.
Nice.
And so, but yeah, I mean, but they're all like this big.
Mm.
When I was younger, because when I graduated high school, I was 6 foot, 127 pounds.
Wow.
And
you were skinny.
I was small.
Damn.
And so my grandfather's brother that passed away the same year that I was born, he was 6'7".
Mm.
So when I hit 8th grade and I was 6 foot, I was like, now we're talking. Now we're talking.
That's pretty tall in 8th grade, actually.
Yeah. And I never grew another damn inch.
Oh. Peaked in 8th grade?
8th grade. But
damn, that's young. I still grew till I was like 20.
How tall are you now?
6'6", 6'7".
6'6", yeah.
Yeah, but I was growing in college.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wow, 6 foot and 8th is tall, though. You were probably dunking in middle school then.
Man, I was dunking. This is insane to think, and it still aggravates the shit out of me to this day. I never got my first dunk until I was in Hawaii.
Wow.
When I was playing. And because like I could get just high enough to where I couldn't get the ball through the cylinder.
Mm.
And so, I mean, hundreds of days that I can remember my wrist being sore from banging it off the rim, but I never made one. It would always back iron because I couldn't literally get it down.
Because the ball's so big.
Yeah.
You had the height probably, but you just couldn't grasp.
Couldn't get it down in.
Yeah.
So it pissed me off for so long. All my buddies are dunking in high school and all this stuff. And they're like, dude, like you haven't like, and I get fast breaks in the game and stuff like that and just lay it up.
Oh, they always give me shit for that.
Just
every time I'm wide open, they want me to dunk it.
And you never.
But I'm gassed sometimes.
Right.
It's late game, like.
Or you're between steps and you're trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Get the height.
Sometimes it's awkward with the steps. Yeah, but no, I love hooping, bro. Ball is life.
Well, I seen the goal that was out front, and as soon as we was walking up, I was bumping into him like that.
I love it, man. Yeah, men's league, I look forward to every single week.
Dude, when you come to Nashville, just come. Like, I played in the league last year and realized for the first time in 10 years, I was like, dude, this is not for you anymore. Because my knees don't have it anymore.
Mm.
And so, like, we get out there and we're playing in C League, pretty much beer ball.
Yeah.
And they're throwing the rock to me and all this stuff. And I'm trying to cross people over. And I'm like, that was slow as shit. Like
your mind's thinking faster than your body.
And then the first game, we show up to C League. These guys are full court pressing us and stuff like this. And I'm like, hey, man, can we just calm down just a little bit?
Well, I'll show up and we'll win for sure.
Yeah. So.
C League, wow, they're full court presence. They don't even do that at the Lifetime League where I play right now.
It was amazing because like there was 3 or 4 guys. We played the whole season. There was 3 or 4 guys on each team that could walk on to any damn college. And
what?
Like there's people out there.
C League?
There's people out there dunking on us and shit. And I'm like, wait a minute, dude.
What kind of C League is this?
I thought this was pickup.
Yeah.
I thought we were, like you're not breaking down and trying to guard me, trying to press on me and shit when I'm trying to get a board.
Okay, so Nashville got hoopers then.
I mean,
if that's the C League, I can't even imagine A League.
That's what I told him. I was like, man, if this is C League, I want to come watch an A League game. because any of those dudes could go play college at any major college and they would have them.
Yeah.
You know,
that's nuts, man.
And so we were at Red Door the other night. We were walking into Red Door, and my buddy Connor that works there, he's 6'6" or 6'7", and we played together. And he goes, man, you going to play this year? And I was like, man, I don't think so, dude. I don't think I'm going to have time. And he goes, yeah, we're back in, and all this. And we had guys that played college,
yeah,
you know, all this stuff. And these guys are beating us by 20 in C leagues. And I told him, I was like, man, I don't think, I was like, by the way, I was like, that league's bullshit. You know, it just reminded me, you know, but have you ever played against anybody from Australia?
No, I can't say I have.
Like any big Aussies?
Different style though, right?
Oh man. Like,
yeah.
I never realized how good I wasn't, you know, and so just big, strong, fast, you know.
More physical, right?
Oh yeah, very much so.
Yeah. It's a different game in Europe too.
Yeah. When we were in Sydney, I realized, because I mean, 6 foot, I never grew, you know, and so I'm playing against these Aussies that are 6'6", 6'7", and when they come down, they get a board, they come down, their elbow is right here, you know?
Yeah.
So, but
I mean, 6'6" is like the average height these days in the NBA.
I know.
I grew up playing center. I'm like short for center now. I can't play center anymore.
Dude, my Oklahoma City Thunder's making a push this year.
They're nice this year. They might win it, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
I hope Shea gets the MVP.
They're looking unbeatable right now. I don't know who could stop them personally.
I mean, dude, we're beating people by 20, 25, 30.
You guys only lost what, 7 games?
7 games.
Oh wait, maybe the Cavaliers. Cavaliers are good this season.
Cavs are good. I thought the Bucks were going to give us some trouble.
Bucks are streaky, man. Sometimes they'll be really good, but we'll see what happens.
I hope we get it. I mean, honestly, because Oklahoma City, I remember going to Oklahoma City and watching it when the Hornets were there, when the hurricane came through.
Yeah.
And so they were playing there. And it's funny because like there used to be such this really cool groovy music scene for country music and red dirt music in Oklahoma City. So you go watch a Thunder game and walk out and go into a honky tonk and watch somebody play some country. And you like, that was right up my alley, you know, cool. Music and basketball and all that, you know, but now all those things all those good bars are gone, but we've never won a title, and I just would love that for the city.
I would love it for you guys.
You know,
yeah, you need one. That would bring the city together.
Yeah, yeah, and Oklahoma City's growing, and I don't know, like everybody's asked me what's my favorite NFL team, and I'm like, well, it's the Titans now because like I never had an NFL team in Oklahoma. You know,
yeah, they never had one. That's a good point.
And so, I mean, I love sports. It don't really matter what it is. I'll watch it. You know.
Yeah.
But I hope we get it this year.
Absolutely. Justin, it's been awesome, man. Where can people keep up with you?
Dude, Justin Andrews Music on all platforms, and thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. That was a blast. We'll have to do part 2 in Nashville.
Get some food together.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Thanks for watching, guys. Check them out. See ya.